David Hoffman, managing director of the China Center at the Conference Board, which is a nonprofit think tank based in New York. He says there is a real danger the U.S. is asking China for the wrong reforms. He joins us now from Singapore as well. David, thanks so much for joining us. The real danger, what is the risk then? And why do you think the U.S. is approaching this perhaps in the wrong way?
Hi, Yvonne. It's hard to know if it's entirely the wrong way, of course, because no one's privy to the exact points of negotiation. We do think there will be a deal forthcoming and that it will be an important deal, but really the start of a process. We think this is a prolonged process that will take some time to resolve entirely. In first instance, it might be about balancing the trade deficit situation, for example, and some gains on reciprocity with regards to investment conditions in China. But the real core of the argument here is whether foreign companies have a level playing field opportunity in China to compete with their Chinese competitors. That is the great leveler, if you will, and as of now, we haven't seen anything that indicates that this part of the formula is on the table or even being discussed.
But doesn't the new foreign investment law at least begin that conversation in a very significant way, I should mention, because they have come out and changed legislation to that regard?
Yeah, so the devil's in the detail here a little bit. Let me explain, and this is the concept of a negative list. The way a foreign company operates in China is they will have a list of the permissible activities they're permitted to do in their business license. So you're permitted to produce autos, for example, or electronic screens, so on and so forth. As technologies evolve and industries change, the items on your list become outdated, and you have to then renegotiate with the Chinese regulators to make sure you're in a permissible space. Not only do you not know if you're compliant or not, but you're also then up for a renewal of your business license, your operating scope, and re-regulation then occurs. So, for example, saying a foreign company can have 100% control of a auto manufacturing business in China is very different from something that said something like, with the exception of global positioning system operations and electronic road sensors, FIE, foreign invested enterprise, is permitted to do all matters related to vehicle production and sales and distribution in China. You see what I mean? That's the really important crutch. So I think in first instance, the administration is arguing that foreign companies should have a choice of wholly owning something or partnering on something. That doesn't solve the equation of how they're permitted to expand and develop their business in new digital areas and so on and so forth. Foreign businesses are constrained by that in a kind of a very difficult and treacherous way.
So what is the right enforcement mechanism then, do you think, David?
So enforcement is another thing in this equation, and again, it's hard to know exactly what the administration is asking for. But one of the reasons this trade tension and negotiation is so significant and deep is because the U.S. government now understands a lot more about how business actually worked on the ground in China. And those revelations came through in kind of 2014 on about how collective bargaining with U.S. IP owners were used to force royalty payments down and so forth. In my view, U.S. and foreign firms should be obliged to meet confidentially with their trade representatives to disclose in some way the grievances they face with respect to, IP vulnerability and other things, and that can then be a mechanism for, at a government level, the U.S. government engaging the Chinese side about these grievances. In other words, if foreign companies aren't obliged to tell the regulators what's really going on, chances are they will never know.